Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to my Total War guide videos, and this one will be not only about Rome, but about other Total War games as well, and suggested by one of my subscribers, the strategy guide of attack, conquering and invasions. When and how do I attack my enemy? And this will be strategic, not tactic level. So what armies to use, how to use them, and so on and so forth. And the very short answer to that question is, how do I attack? When do I attack? It depends. You need to be able to get away with it. So you need to ask yourself, can I get away with it? And there are many different factors. So let's go through all of the things that I could come up with to see when and how to attack and with what to attack to be successful, to defeat your enemies, to conquer, to win a war. Not necessarily defeat your enemies, but to win a war. This is crucial because total annihilation of your enemy is not always your goal. Alright, so first thing is to consider who are you fighting against. This is like a mid-game with Carthage. Ignore that was before the patch 18. So the food was working different at that time. But if you see, I will be attacking here one of the most powerful nations, that is Seleucids. They don't like me. They are big. Right? They have a war with few people like Egypt, Bithynia, Pergamon. But in general, this is a very powerful country. And you can get away with attacking strong enemy if you are attacking places that are not very well defended. Like here, you can see that I can strike against Side and defeat that place easily. This is a fleet that will be engaging Side. I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, but yeah. First taking out those fleets, quite possibly. And this is an army that will be going inland. The fleet will be basically supporting it and taking out the settlements that are the port settlements. I don't need to attack port settlements with this army. This army will be supporting. There is another army that is coming this way. This is this army, and this is mercenary army. So why I land in Asia or anywhere here, I will be start recruiting even more units. As you can see, it's not a full army, but it has a lot of very well ranked Balearic slingers, and it has some mercenary veteran hoplites who are quite powerful, and also some mercenary noble fighters. I'm hoping I will be able to get more of those guys. So now, if you are attacking the enemy that is very large, you can attack him in the undefended position. And you need to do a strike like that. When he's not aware that you will be fighting him, you just declare war on him and, for example, defeat his fleets, move inland, attack his settlements here, basically crush him while he's still not aware that you are his enemy. This is obviously need 10 turns before that. You need to break any ties with him, any trade agreements, and so forth. Need to be forfeited 10 turns before that, or you will lose your steadfast reliability rating. If you lose your reliability rating, you will be attacked. The same way, I will talk about politics later on, but this is how you attack strong enemies. Weaker enemies are sometimes harder to attack because if they have a single settlement, for example, they can have a full stack and some defending that single settlement. And then you need to take your big army and just crush them. Now, second thing to consider when you are attacking the enemy is army strength and composition. First army that you will be seeing in the mid game, in late game especially, is so-called Death Stack. More commonly seen in the Total War Warhammer. In Rome it's only available in late game. However, for somebody like Carthage, you can get it earlier because you can get a lot of mercenaries. You have a load of money and you can use those mercenaries. Also, there are ways to make those mercenaries a lot cheaper. So, this is a death stack. This is lots of elite cavalry. This is elite missile cavalry. They can also hit very, very hard. This is lots of elite swords, elite spears. Well, pretty much everything is elite, including those amazing Thracial Peltas. If you haven't used them before, use them. They are amazing. This death stack will be able to punch through 2 enemy armies that are not elite armies easily. 2 mid armies, they will punch through them, and it should not make a large dent upon this army. They will have to replenish, true, but they will be successful. And at this point in the game, at turn 50, Seleucids will not be able to field any elite armies yet. Unless they went hard into the military, mostly they don't. You will be facing elite armies from the barbarians at this turn only. So, later on in the game, you might need to put 2 armies like that to fight with elite armies of your enemies. This is one way of approaching, and this army can go just alone, and you don't have to be worried about being attacked. Obviously, you probably should not do a force march if you are at war with anybody, because ambush can kill the best army. The second approach is to attack with 2 or more armies. Here I have just finished invasion of Lusitania. As you can see, I have 3 armies in here, and these are mid-level armies consisting of African pikes, Libyan infantry, Libyan peltas, some decent noble cavalry. Here is very similar army, lots of noble cavalry, pikemen, and so on. Pretty decent army, right? To support this army, I have sword units here as well. Mercenary Scutari, some Balearic Slingers, so long-range troops which those 2 armies do not have. Some cavalry, more powerful cavalry as well. So some mercenary noble horses and some mercenary noble fighters. This is also mid-level army. This is not all elites. This is not a death stack by far. Even those Balearic Slingers has only single rank on them, not like in that other army that you've seen there were rank 7. So, although Balearic Slingers are pretty cool units to use. So, I was attacking Lusitania with those 3 armies, and this army was supporting, basically. If this army was attacking the settlement, I was helping this army. If this army was attacking the settlements, I was helping this army. So there was always 2 armies attacking, and this army was supporting whoever was in trouble. I also had a spy in here, so he could defend. Now the next enemy I will face would be Gaiatuli. Those guys have very, very weak armies. And if you move closer, you would see that all those armies are very, very bad. Very low morale, very weak units. They will not be able to stand a chance even against a single stack of medium armies. So I will probably use only 2 armies to strike here. Then I will move one of the supporting army, one other army to the north. So this will be enough to take out those armies, and then attack with 1 army here, and the other army here, and take down entire Gayatuli, because they are just so weak, and they wouldn't be able to make an army that will be in any way a danger to this stack. So yeah, that's when it comes to the army's strength. And there is also army composition. If I am facing armies like here, like Lusitani, I would like to use... The African pikemen is somewhat problematic, but they are good against the Lusitani swords. But you need to be able to close down the enemies so they wouldn't be able to use lots of javelins against them, because if they do, they will mate African pikemen. So you need to be aware that you might lose a unit or two. Those Libyan infantry are pretty okay, those guys are pretty heavy, and Libyan peltas are very good to stand in front and just attack, just exchange the javelin fire with the enemy. Elephants are very, very problematic when using here. This was not the best army to use against those guys. This is good army to use against the Lusitani, but you need to use cavalry very, very carefully. Wait until the army is engaged and only then attack the rear, because those guys are obviously very, very vulnerable to all those missiles. This army is actually excellent against the Lusitani because of all this long range and decent sword units and enough cavalry to stop their cavalry and also throw some javelins. If the army composition would be also very, very important if you are playing like Bactria. So I will quit very, very shortly. You don't have to have elite units to win against your enemy. If I go into Grand Campaign and start as Bactria, no matter what level, I will be starting a war as Bactria do not have is good swords. What you have, it's a lot of cavalry and lots of missile artillery.
Although freed from the Seleucid oppression,
But mostly not very well armored, except for general unit. So what we can do here, we will be at war with Daha at some point, and with Bactria, and you probably will need to eliminate steppe nomads in general, all of them. The best armies you could field would be Eastern Spearmen and Eastern Slingers. Yes, Eastern Spearmen would be a pretty decent army, because they have bonus versus large of 20. You need to, although, boost the morale of those guys. So obviously, you know, do best to secure this promotion. Just attack the enemy, take him out, secure this promotion, do a purge. You need to get to that plus 10 morale, plus 15 morale, plus 20% morale as soon as possible. Then you can use maybe some of the levy pikes in the back, and then in front Eastern Spearmen and Eastern Slingers, because levy pikes are very vulnerable to the missile fire, and Eastern Slingers are actually quite decent missile unit that will be able, those guys have armor piercing damage of 6, and they are able to do a lot of damage into the enemy cavalry. They can shoot 7-8 times per minute. They can go very, very fast to 8 times per minute, and they can deal a lot of damage to enemy cavalry for long enough that this Eastern Spearman will not need to hold for extended amounts of time. And then you can, in the back, keep some Bactrian Hillmen or Levy Pikes just to shield the Slingers when your when your Eastern Spearmen will die. Obviously, the Barbarian factions have Levy Spearmen and Levy Freemen who are absolutely amazing and will be able to hold for much longer. And if they use the same, against cavalry armies from, for example, Scythia or Sarmatia, they will be able to do pretty much the same. If you are playing like Suebi and Boyai, you start in that part of the map, you can use the same, and you don't have to worry that they will melt as fast as the Eastern Spearmen, especially because the Germanic factions, for example, have these sweet shields that block 60% of the missiles. Alright, so this is about army compositions and strength. Now to the strategic resources. There are a few strategic resources. I will go back to my Carthage save for a quick moment. There are two strategic resources on the map from your enemy could mean the end of the war. And the first of those resources is food. There are a few resources like that. Like in Syracuse. Here is the one. It will give you +3, later on +4 food to every settlement in this province and every settlement in adjusting provinces. So that is a lot. The other one is in Africa. There is one in here, for example, in Malva, and this will give you a lot of food. Sometimes the ports will also have similar resources. I'm not sure if... No, it's no longer here. But in general, for example, you will find some ports that will have a fishery. And this brings 9 food. Taking away your enemy food, we could make him starve. And when your enemy starves, he's basically losing all his troops in all his armies. And after 2-3 turns, you can just take him out. It's just it. That's the end. He's not able to do anything. Which is very, very, very useful, of course. The second thing that you need to take consideration is the enemy ability to build stuff. So here, for example, he can recruit some ships and some horses. In Tingis, he has he has food, which I can take away, and more horse recruitment. There is nothing here. It would be useful to see, if I go south more, will I be able to discover some interesting recruitment buildings. Without the recruitment buildings, your enemy can basically get only slingers or spearmen, and that's it. He cannot defend against you. So that's something that is very, very important. If you kill his army and he has a vast territory, he won't be able to recruit more armies, and that's it. The war is over. Another thing is using fleets. Firstly, the fleets are very, very important when defending. If you have a fleet like that, which has 12, 16 units and lots of artillery, your enemy will not be able to defend against you. Basically, every land army that will 20 stack that will attack you will die. The full stack fleet can take out 2 stacks of infantry, so the seas are yours, basically. The other thing that is very important when attacking with those guys is that those fleets in many occasions has some amazing ships. Like, for example, here, I am able to get ships that have 140 javelins. And also, 160 Sacred Band. Sacred Band is elite unit for Carthage. These are elite spears. and they are pretty amazing. You can land at any... If there is a city with walls, you can land in general 3 ships in the harbor. And those 3 ships, if those 3 ships are Sacred Band or some other elite troops, and you are pelting them with artillery, and you have some javelins or archers to support it, it's even worse. Now I will have this 10-turn save from the Macedon, which will show you how powerful you can get when your enemies at this point will start recruiting tier 3 units, tier 2 units, I mean. What can we do as a Macedon or Carthage or Cimmeria at this turn? Let's raise a fleet. Let's raise a fleet of 180 archers. This is 180 archers. And then let's recruit units. What can we get? We can get Royal Peltas. 160 Royal Peltas. This is elite unit that is very, very capable in destroying most enemy, and also have 3 javelins. 3 javelins that they can throw at the range of 80. Very, very deadly unit, and you can get with them some 140 Scorpion Panthers. So they have Scorpion and they have 140 archers, which you can land like 2 Royal Peltas and the archers in the walled settlement and destroy your enemy while still having some Onegars and Ballistas to basically melt him before you go in. So you can take any city, any settlements, and nobody will be able to stand against you. You will be only have to be careful about cavalry, but you can get javelins to stop that cavalry. Obviously, Carthage will be very, very strong against cavalry because of Sapient Band and javelins, but not as good against sword infantry. And finally, you have Cimmeria. Cimmeria has not as elite attack ships. They only have Scythian Hoplites 160, which is also very good unit. They will be able to hold for long enough. But their elite ships holds 180 heavy Cimmerian archers. Heavy Cimmerian archers is one of the best units in the game. They will be able to defeat pretty much anybody, and Scythian Hoplites will be able to hold for long enough for them to enable you to do that. You will just take any settlement that is on the shore without any problems. And there is lots of settlements on the shores in this game. So yeah, fleets. Fleets are very, very cool. They're also very, very fast. Fleet can move much, much faster than any army. Next thing you need to consider when attacking your enemy is to not weaken yourself politically. And I had this problem when playing with my Epirus. When I was attacked by too many enemies, I looked as if I was weak, and that caused other people to attack me. Also you cannot leave. Sorry about that. I was not aware that there is an end. There is an end turn here. Maybe we can do that with Armenia. Did I click that turn? That's weird. There is a bug. You cannot have a safe turn or legendary while having the end turn clicked. So, here is my Armenia Empire divided. And problem is that when you are fighting Bactria and and Horde of the Steppe and Magatriana and Media and Sassanids, people will start declaring war on you, like those guys. You need to be very careful not to give your enemy appearance that you are weak, and you need to also put armies on the border, like single full stack army on the border, like here for example. so that Palmyrians, right now I just retreated because I'm attacking, but I had a full stack army in here, and I do the same in my Carthage campaign, and I do the same in my Epirus campaign, which I wanted to show you. In Epirus campaign, for example, I have a single full stack here, just so that my enemy wouldn't think that he can sneak and attack me here. And another fleet in Athens, so he knows he cannot just take fleet and attack me right here. Basically, that's a plan. You cannot appear weak, because attacking large empire is very easy if he has no armies around. And you cannot appear like it's easy to attack you. Right. The next thing is pretty easy. It's planning your moves and replenishing. Basically, when you are attacking, you need to be prepared to attack with 2 armies if this is prolonged campaign. So one of your armies can replenish, like this army is very, very damaged. And what you need to do with this army, you need to stack it in the city, so it can start replenishing, while this army can attack your enemy. Actually, this small army is not really problematic, so what I will do is I will stack this army right here. It will start replenishing very, very slowly, but there is some strange effect that causes my replenishment to be a lot slower. And this army can still attack, and it can go, and my plan is basically to eliminate media first. There is not much more media here. So strike down with those, eliminate media, and only then go against Sassanids. That is the plan. Plan your moves, prepare yourself, count down how many turns you need to get, how many turns. These are my friends, they will not attack me. If they will, I should be able to defend in here. But in general, for example, here, plan how much time it will take for the rebellion to come out, so you are able to get back to your city just as rebellion is starting, so you can crush them and go back against your enemies. Your enemies, there is a lot of them, but you can already start recruiting another army right here, which I will be doing. Another army right here, which will be able to, in 4 turns, to get to Siracena and be able to defend that part of the lands. Worst case scenario, I will lose this place, because I will retreat all the way to here. Plan your replenishment. Be aware that your enemy is replenishing a lot faster than you do. And the last thing to talk about, I don't have a concrete example to show you, but there was a situation when in here, just you can see that in the episode, I guess 11 or 12, in my Armenian Let's Play, when I was attacked and my capital of here was attacked. And what I did was I crushed them and they are counter-attacked. I didn't even started campaigning in media. I just put my army in Artaxa, so they wouldn't attack me through here, and so I would be able to defend both cities. But when they did attack, I struck down with 2 armies, take them out, and it allowed me to just plow through him because he had no more armies to defend those settlements. So this is another important thing. Counter-striking. Just after you defeat your enemy, attack, push. It will hurt. If you wait just 1 turn, your enemies will be getting 10 more units each turn, and that will be pretty bad for you. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Thank you for watching. Hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will. and see my other videos. Bye! See you later!